What's up, everyone? Nitro here. I just got back from seeing Toy Story 5, aka, I don't know why I say this, but it's the fifth Toy Story. If you did not know that Toy Story 5 was the fifth Toy Story, well, now you know it's the fifth Toy Story. But yeah, I just got back from seeing Toy Story 5. Now, before I go into this review, I will do a prefaces. Obviously, I grew up with Toy Story, 97. Movie came out in 95, but I was still in that generation that grew up with the legendary Toy Story series. And I did recently do a rewatch the other day of Toy Story 1 through 3. I didn't really get to 4. But yeah, I did see the core trilogy again, and man, it's such a good trilogy. And second of all, once you see that trilogy of movies as you get older, like once you're older, like towards like your mid-20s or on the cuff of 30s, or heck, even your early 30s, Toy Story just hits differently, especially the third one. The third Toy Story completely hits differently. Like the ending where Andy is going off to college, that almost made me cry. It almost made me rep. And, Andy having that last bit of, youthful bliss in a small moment with Bonnie in 3. That was such a endearing moment to go back and witness again, especially now I'm on the cusp of my 30s. But before I go on tangent on how the original trilogy was amazing, I will say it's nice that 3 introduced the idea of Bonnie, and then 4 just went all into Bonnie being the new human character / vessel for these toys in the imagination of the toys. And that's the best part of Toy Story, is the imagination that the kids have with the toys and the adventures that the toys go on because of the imagination that the kids, bring to life with the toys. And in my opinion, the adventures that the Andy and Bonnie and all the other kids have with their Buzz Lightyears and their Woodies and etc. Like, those adventures kind of, in my opinion, inspire the adventures and journeys that the toys themselves go on throughout the various movies in the series. And again, you see here in Toy Story 5, Toy Story 5 does bring on Lilypad, voiced by Greta Lee. Lilypad being a new toy kind of for Bonnie. I'd say kind of because it's more of, it's in the name, it's technology, it's an iPad. I will say this movie is a really good just like social study / commentary on what technology does to humans and obviously overall kids in general, and how technology just kind of makes kids, more advanced, more kind of mature, and just at the same time incredibly mean. Like kids are ruthless, especially what they can say through a screen, because majority of people that say all the crap that they say through screens are the keyboard warriors. Majority of those people, when it comes to real life and it comes to nut up or shut up, especially in real life, they are terrified, they break down, they don't know what to say. And in general, they're not, ready to say what they're ready to say across the screen. And I think that's what the older generation, or the boomers, are, I guess, terrified of, is they don't know how to reciprocate and react when people are being harsh against the screen and stuff like that. And again, like I said, it's a good social commentary, not just for the kids and the young generation, but it's a good social commentary on just the adults, and how the adults, they just respond to late notification bubbles that they think are their kids, but in all reality, it might be someone else. It might be a toy. It might be malware contacting them. So it's just a good commentary in general for all age groups, and that's just the thing for Pixar movies. Like every Pixar movie and Pixar Disney, like they're all good social commentary movies on just society in itself, and this is no different in Toy Story 5. I will say, I had a blast seeing this movie. I thought it was, again, good for all generations, like every good Pixar movie is. And that's honestly majority of the Toy Story franchise. It's good for all generations. It's definitely, it's a lighthearted comedy movie at times. There is some really good comedy characters, mostly by like one comedian. But the stuff that the comedian says is pretty funny. Star-studded cast, you would expect nonetheless when it comes to Toy Story. It's a star-studded cast. So it's good that this has a star-studded cast, and let alone not just the actors. This is the fifth Toy Story. There is a bunch of toys. There is literally a bunch of flipping toys when it comes to Toy Story 5. There's so many toys that they appear on the screen, but not all of them talks, not all of them has a voice, and not all of them are, present in the movie that long. Like, some of them have like a couple seconds, if not a couple milliseconds of screen time. They're just literally there to be like, hey, we're here, we showed up, they put us in the movie. All right, that's it. That's about it. It has a lot of good nostalgic flashbacks and as well tons of flashbacks throughout this movie. Some flashbacks will eventually make you almost shed a tear, or shed a tear, depends on what type of person you are. But like I said, this star-studded cast, obviously you got Tom Hanks and Tim Allen as Woody and Buzz Lightyear, the classics of Toy Story. You got Jonah Cusack as Jessie. Like I said, Greta Lee as Lilypad. Keanu Reeves is in this movie. I had no clue Keanu Reeves was in this movie, but it's nice to see Mr. John Wick in a movie again. He plays Duke Kaboom, which the last name Kaboom is very accurate for a guy that is an action star at this point. Bo Peep, Anna Potts is in this movie. Very briefly, like I said, she's one of the cast members that just shows up for a couple seconds and just goes off screen, and you don't see her ever again. You have Wallace Shawn reprising his role as Rex. Ernie Hudson as Combat Carl. Obviously, you got John Ratzenberger as Professor Ham, Dr. Evil Pork Chop, just Ham the Pig. Another star-studded surprising cast in this movie is Bad Bunny. I don't know what character Bad Bunny plays. Probably some Spanish one-line joke or whatever. But again, Bad Bunny is in the movie. That's something. We all love Bad Bunny. But yeah, it's nice to see Bad Bunny in a movie role. Like I said, there is a comedian actor that has majority of the funny comedy lines in this movie. That comedian actor is Conan O'Brien. You may love him, you may hate him, depends on your stance on Conan O'Brien and Conan O'Brien's humor. Very unique character. He plays Smarty Pants. I'm not gonna go too much into the detail. You just have to go see the movie to just witness this character's stupidity, I guess. I mean, if you think about it, it's very a Conan O'Brien character. Now, if you just think about the character he plays. I'm not gonna lie, when I heard the name Smarty Pants, I legit thought he was gonna play a pair of pants with eyes. I'm glad it was not a pair of pants with eyes, and I'm sorry if that is a unexpected spoiler. I really don't think it is, because it's a name. That's all I said. But yeah, like I said, star-studded cast. Also, you got Craig Robinson. Craig Robinson is in here for a little bit. Again, don't know what character he plays, but he's in there. Like I said, star-studded cast. Really good actors in general. But yeah, like I said, definitely a social commentary movie of how technology just affects our relationships and our brains, and the connections that you make with people and the connections that you have falling out with people. And this movie is really about the connections that you make with strangers and friends and ex-friends and etc. And it basically shows you that life is basically about the connections you make. And if you don't really have connections in life, then kind of a sad life. I'm not going to go on that topic. But yeah, I mean, life is all about the connections and the friendships and the relationships, and it really shows in that movie. And it shows in Bonnie's happiness and how she could be happy with people that are so and so apparently her friends, but in our reality they turn up to be bullies, and she doesn't realize that they were bullies in the first place. She just wanted to be accepted because she had no one. And it's definitely a tragic type of arc if you are a person that's, it's hard for you to make friends with someone. So yeah, like it's definitely an emotional roller coaster of a movie. That's what I can say about Toy Story 5. And that's basically for a majority of Pixar movies. Majority of Pixar movies are good family flick, emotional roller coaster of movies. But yeah, it really goes to show you that people are different behind a screen. And I mean, we all know that. And we all know that through growing up of 25 plus years of technology. And again, technology just changes people for the better or the worse. It's up to you to decide. But yeah, I would definitely say go out and see Toy Story 5. I give it a theater recommendation. It's definitely a good theater flick to see this movie. I didn't see it in IMAX. My theater doesn't have IMAX. All my theater is 3D. And to this day, I still think 3D is a really terrible gimmick, and that's honestly a majority of movie theaters at this point. We now have 4X theaters, and that's just extra screen, and that's about it. It's like an ultra-wide monitor. Why see 4X when you have an ultra-wide monitor? Or like an ultra-wide Samsung TV with all the bells and the whistles that cost like $5,000. But yeah, I mean, go out, see Toy Story. I highly recommend it. It's a really good movie. I will say it felt like at times they were adding a bit too much, and this movie was a bit too everywhere. Like I say, it's a huge cast of characters. There's tons of characters. Not all of them get screen time, if not barely any screen time at all. They do journey a lot to point A to point B and back to point A. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. At times, this movie seemed like it was setting up sequels to other movies that was spin-offs. aka Lightyear. It seemed like it was kind of setting up Lightyear 2 at times. And, one can question themselves if this movie should have been a spin-off instead of just a fifth rendition of Toy Story. It's really up for you to decide, because there is a lot of zippy-zagging back and forth between plot lines, but majority of the plot lines are all, connected together and woven together in one singular plot. I mean, this is a kids movie after all. It can't be that complicated. But like Pixar movies have gone throughout history, the older you get, the more complexity and the more theories that you add to the plot behind a Pixar movie, and I'm sure Toy Story 5 is going to be no different. So I definitely recommend go out, see Toy Story. Tell me what you think about it in the comments below. Until next time, infinity and beyond.